Hi YouTube, my name is Dani. If you're new here, welcome. I make vlogs about all the things that I'm passionate about, which include travel, aviation, and more recently I've been speaking a lot about feminine energy, manifestation, and spirituality. So basically all the things that I'm passionate about. Now I'm currently in a transition in my life from moving from a flight attendant, which I've been doing for the past 6 years and I'm still doing, and recently finished my course as studying to become a feminine embodiment coach. So today's video is about that in particular. I'm going to talk about what is feminine embodiment, and if you feel intrigued to know more or you would like to work with me, I'm going to leave my details in the link below and you can visit my coaching website, and I've got all my offerings on there and more information on how feminine embodiment can work for you and help you in your current life and circumstances. So I guess to begin with, what is feminine embodiment, or what is embodiment? What are we talking about here? Embodiment actually means to inhabit the body. So to be in the body. So maybe you're thinking, well, aren't we all in our bodies? Like, what do you mean be in the body? Well, technically, yes, you are always in your body. This body is attached to you, right? But energetically, and this is what I'm talking about, energetically, a lot of the time, particularly in today's day and age, we are very detached from our body because a lot of our energy is up in our heads, in our shoulders, and this region of our body, and because of that we're not connecting to our feminine energy, which often lies in our hearts, it lies within our womb, in our hips, and in the lower regions of our body. And that is because we live in a very hypermasculine world. We value logic and achievements and action and doing more than we value the feminine traits such as being and passivity and intuition and creativity. We don't value that as much in our society as we do for the action and achievement and the doing and the logic. And because of that, because so many of us are living in this world where we're always in our masculine energy, we're always in our logical minds, we're always up in this region of our body, we're very good at being in our masculine energy because a lot of us have been raised to be like that. We go to school and they teach us about logic and how to do mathematics and science and to read. Even reading is using the left part of our brain, which is our masculine side of the brain. So from a very young age we're conditioned to be in our masculine energy, and then what happens is that we slowly over time we forget how to connect to the more subtle languages of our body's innate wisdom, which doesn't come from the head. Sometimes the body's wisdom, it cannot be logically understood from the brain, and that's what a lot of us struggle to comprehend because we're so good at analyzing and being logical that we really struggle to think that our bodies can actually know things that could help us with steps we need to be taking in our lives. You know, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of intuition. And that very much, that intuition, it's a bodily knowing. It's not something that can be logically comprehended. And feminine embodiment is 100% one way that you can connect deeply with your intuition. And that's probably the best thing that I have found from studying feminine embodiment and now coaching women in feminine embodiment, is to connect to your body and your innate wisdom, your intuition, and to make decisions based on that place, because it can be really hard, I know for myself, to make decisions from a logical perspective, because when I had to make decisions based on logic, I would be doing pros and cons list, and I found it really difficult. I always considered myself a very indecisive person, but then once I started making body-based decisions and knowing my body's yes from my body's no, and then navigating my life based on what is true to me at my core, decisions became so much easier after that. The thing with embodiment is that we're all embodied. Like when we're children, and you often see, if you remember how you were as a child, or you know any children and you watch how they behave, they will happily tell you when they're hungry, when they have to do a poo, when they feel sick. They might start crying just out of nowhere and just lash out in anger. And that is because they are in their bodies. They're embodied. They naturally know what they're feeling. They might not comprehend why they're feeling a certain way, but they know that they're feeling hungry, or they're feeling sad, or they're feeling angry. They know it. But a lot of us in today's society, because we're so disconnected from our bodies, we have become numb. And that might have been from, like I was saying, from conditioning to be in our masculine energy, but it also can be, you know, if you've experienced some sort of bodily trauma where it didn't feel safe for you to be in your body, particularly those people that have been sexually harassed or abused. It is very, very common for the victim in that situation to separate, detach from the body, because it's too painful to be in the body. And that is often why over time we, you know, and also because we're so much in our masculine energy, it doesn't feel safe to be in the body. We don't want to feel negative. I don't even want to say the word negative. We don't want to feel more denser feelings, like we don't want to feel anger, or we don't want to feel rage or sadness or depression. And all feelings are just feelings. Like none of them are right or wrong, you know. And a lot of us, we feel good when we experience happiness and joy and pleasure, but then it's that those emotions that are not typically celebrated within society, you know, such as the anger or the sadness and depression, that we tend to not want to feel. And this is where embodiment is really, really important, because what happens is when we don't feel our feelings, they don't actually go away. They actually just become repressed inside of us, and they become stagnant energy, and that blocks our energy from moving and flowing throughout our entire body. And that can block our creative energy. It can block our capacity to feel more pleasure and happiness in our lives. It can cause us to be numb and feel lackluster about life. It can lead to physical illness and disease, because all physical illness is a result of an energetic imbalance in the body. So this stagnant energy within us, that can lead to so many issues. And it ends up, usually when we don't want to feel anger, when we push it down, it ends up coming out in different ways, where people, you might know yourself or other people that project, maybe they're feeling sad or vulnerable, or they're feeling fear, and they just burst out in rage and they start lashing out at other people. That is often a result of suppressed energy in the body, stuck, stagnant energy. It needs to be released, it needs to be moved. And if it's not done in a healthy way, which an embodiment practice can do, it can move that energy within you, then it often comes out in ways that are not the best for either ourselves or for others, where, you know, we might be projecting onto other people. It could also look like numbing feelings. So that's where we see binge eating. I know I'm someone who likes to eat my emotions, so that can also show up. It can be any kind of addiction. It could be addiction to alcohol, sex, porn, shopping, social media, all of these distractions where we don't want to deal with what's actually going on inside of us. We turn to a substance or some sort of distraction so we don't have to feel our feelings. And like I said, when we don't feel our feelings, it just becomes stuck in the body. It's not actually leaving the body, it's still remaining. What does it look like when we are spending too much time in our masculine energy? Well, it can look like an inability to experience pleasure, or just even having a lack of pleasure and happiness and joy in your life, because pain and pleasure sit on the same scale and you can't experience one without the other. It also can be a disconnection from your intuition. It might be you can't make decisions, you really struggle with decisions. That is often a reflection that you are sitting too much in your masculine energy. You're not connected to your center, to your core. It can look like numbness and also analysis paralysis, always over analyzing. That's how anxiety can show up in the body. Feeling a lot of stress, anxiety, particularly for women, because when women spend too much time in their masculine energy, I would say 90%, if not more, of women, if you were born as a woman, you will innately feel better when you're sitting in your feminine energy. So if you are constantly in your masculine energy, one of the main side effects of that is feeling stress, overwhelm, anxiety, and that can lead to burnout. You just too much, I can't handle it anymore. That is a very good sign you're in your masculine energy a little too much and need to drop down your energy into the body. It can show up even just trying to be something that you're not, being very influenced by other people. It can show up as, like I said before, binge eating and over excessive shopping and binge scrolling on social media, maybe binge drinking, all of these type of addictions to numb out the sensation. And basically all of these things are happening is because we're cut off from the body's wisdom, our intuition, our deep knowing of who we are. And it can also make it really hard to set boundaries with other people. A lot of this is occurring on a subconscious level, so most of the time we're unaware that this is actually occurring. But if you really sit with yourself and just reflect on how you're behaving, you'll probably know whether or not you are spending a lot of time in your masculine energy, and if you need to connect more to the lower half of your body and that region of your body and its wisdom and your intuition. So a feminine embodiment practice is basically you connecting to your body's subtle language, and that is through sensation. So the body doesn't communicate through language, which we experience through the mind. The body communicates through sensation, and that is why I talk about how we can't logically comprehend what our body is trying to say to us a lot of the time. Most of the time, all that needs to happen is we just need to feel whatever sensations are arising in our bodies. So if you're feeling anger, it's sitting with the anger, breathing into the anger. Maybe how does that anger want to express itself? Do you want to go and punch a pillow? Do you want to scream? Do you want to dance? Do you want to cry? Do you want to hold yourself? And it might sound a little bit weird. No one has to see your embodiment practice. I often do it with my door closed. I do it shut off from the rest of the world, and I lock my door, and I put some music on, and I feel whatever needs to be feel. And sometimes it looks like dancing, sometimes it looks like me just crying on the floor and holding myself. Sometimes it looks like me punching a pillow. It doesn't really matter how it's expressed. Everyone's embodiment practice is going to look different, but all that matters is that you're expressing, you're feeling whatever it needs to be felt. You're not numbing it anymore. You're not pushing that emotion down. You're saying, here, I'm open to you, I'm welcome to you, I'm embracing you. What do you need? How do you want to express yourself? What do you need in this moment? How can I love you more? How can I welcome this? And knowing that no emotion is wrong. We're so often taught that depression or sadness or anger is bad, and it's not. It's simply part of being human. We're never gonna feel happy 100% of the time. That's just not realistic. And I'm someone who's very optimistic, and I have my days where I'm not happy, and that's normal. But when we bypass that sadness and we pretend that we have to just keep putting a smile on our face and pretend like everything's okay, that's when the energy gets blocked, and that can lead to so many other issues as a result of that blocked energy. That is why an embodiment practice is so important. And if it feels really strange to do an embodiment practice, maybe it's really worthwhile getting a coach, even if it's just one session. I do encourage, at least 3 sessions in order to fully see the effects of embodiment. But a feminine embodiment coach like myself, basically what I will do with my clients is hold space for you. So rather than you feeling all of those emotions, particularly if you've been through something, quite heavy in your life, rather than you having to experience that all on your own, I am here just holding that space. And I'm holding you, and I'm loving you, and I'm helping you to navigate your awareness into the body. And so that emotion can be liberated, so that you can free that blocked energy and have your energy moving and circulating how it's supposed to. And so that is why a feminine embodiment coach can be really beneficial. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to put my details in the description below if you want to work with me, because I am taking one-on-one clients at the moment, and I am releasing a course very soon on the menstrual cycle, which incorporates embodiment as well. If you're interested in that, I'll also link some details below. I've also recorded an embodiment practice, and it comes with a guided video. It's about 30 minutes, and I'll provide a link below because that might suit you if you just want something like a quick guided practice, and then you can kind of take it from there and go and do your own thing. Feminine embodiment practice takes a little bit of time. It's not a one-time, quick fix. It's something that, I've implemented each day, each week, and I always am coming back to my center, coming back to my body, and letting that guide me throughout my day-to-day life. And I really encourage you to create your own embodiment practice, and it might look like mine, but it might look completely different. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but all I know is that it's changed my life 100%, and it makes things so much easier for me. I'm able to navigate through life so much easier because I'm so connected to my inner wisdom, to my truth, to my heart, and I'm able to make decisions based on that rather than what society says I should do, what my logical brain says I should do. Because one thing I've come to understand is that true understanding doesn't come from the logical mind, and it just can't, because there's so much that the mind just cannot understand. And the only way to truly understand anything is by feeling, and it's hard to comprehend, but it's just a knowing inside your body. And that's what embodiment can truly do for you. It's just knowing who you are and knowing what to do in every situation based on that place. And it doesn't need to make sense as long as it makes sense to you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all I wanted to share with you. If you have more questions on feminine embodiment, or you want to work with me and you have more questions about my coaching practices, then make sure you leave me a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. I always reply to all the comments, and I love receiving your feedback. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, because I'm going to be recording a lot more about feminine energy and feminine embodiment, as that is something that I'm truly passionate about. And when you like this video, it helps other people find me and find this information, which I think is really valuable for all people. And with that said, I'm going to leave lots of links below about how you can work with me if you want to get my guided embodiment practice. And until my next video, take care of yourself, and I wish you a magical week. Mwah.